have you been for the last 1,000 years, Marnie?
Apparently, I've been killed.
It's evolution of the soul. Really, the whole cosmos is evolving. The rocks are evolving, and the air and the molecules and everything is constantly raising its frequency.
How the concept of reincarnation works if we were living in a simulation. Have you heard about the law of one? Our universe has 7 major densities, and we live in that. And all times are happening simultaneously. Then the thing that we call God, the thing that we call intuition, a higher beings, it's just us waiting, or not waiting, doing its thing, but trying to reach out to this third dimension stupid guy that is like, oh, strawberry.
Christianity apparently had reincarnation included in their scriptures until I think somewhere around 400 AD, and somehow it got taken out.
If you believe in reincarnation, you don't have to wait. Just go and look for reincarnated Jesus, as they do for reincarnated Buddha. All your Buddhists out there, bite me. It's not that serious. So here we are again. Yeah, I like it.
Reincarnated into another episode.
Yeah, exactly. Reincarnated and rejuvenated.
Yes.
Yes. I mean, the rejuvenated part I'm not sure about, but reincarnated. Today's topic is really interesting because I know myself have some type of personal experience about it. I'm not actually sure it is experience or how correct I am about it, but it's something. It's something to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely.
Something to share.
In what we were talking about before, Marnie, I know that you and I have met somewhere in other lifetimes. I've no idea where, but I remember the first meeting with you was, oh yeah, there's Marnie, yeah. Where have you been for the last 1,000 years, Marnie?
Yeah.
Steep.
In here, apparently I've been killed in last couple thousand years. So
Yeah, well, that's sort of part of the deal with reincarnating, or dying anyway.
yeah,
You kind of have to die to come back.
yeah, I'd rather die at natural causes.
Yes, well, there is that.
Died. I got stabbed on my back, so that's not nice. That's a nice memory.
Do you know why? What did you do, Marnie?
I guess okay, I'm gonna tell you my whole experience and my whole,
Spill the beans.
however much I can remember. As a kid, I had this repeated nightmares, and it was about me running away from people chasing me, and those people were dressed or had almost Roman Empire style. How do you say it? Romans
Like
clothing.
Oh, okay, yeah, with the togas.
Yeah, exactly.
Clothing,
I don't even know what you call them, but
Not me completely, but
yeah, they had that type of clothing on, and weirdly enough, we had like this Last Supper painting of the last Jesus meeting with 12 disciples. So I don't know if that image on the wall, on that painting, gives me some type of like
some time frame.
not time frame, but like it's like a trigger point.
Okay.
Some type of memory that's very strongly suppressed, so you don't remember it. But as a kid, you can get triggered by something.
Oh, yes.
And I remember the very strong memory, because it is like that. Sometimes with the scent, with the smell of something, you can remember an experience that you had like, I don't know, 20 years ago, but in a very vivid and very real way. So I think that painting on the wall triggered my 4-year-old brain to recall that horrible memory of getting stabbed
Wow.
and get killed. But just that part wasn't scary. The chase, the running away and being chased, that was scary.
Yeah.
Every night I was struggling. I was running away, and I've been chased. And as a 4-year-old, it was a horrible thing that I was experiencing. But I couldn't explain it, or I never thought about communicating with my parents about it. Probably I didn't have the vocabulary to
A
explain
4-year-old
it
probably wouldn't
fully.
have that much. Oh.
But even if I had, the point being, I never tried.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know if I was able to, but I never tried. And I just thought like, it's just a nightmare, and
Yeah.
didn't make anything out of it.
Just a thought. Have you had any back pains this lifetime, or any trouble with your back?
Back pain.
Why I ask is I have heard of people that have memories like you're describing. I've been. I know a good friend who was stabbed with a spear through the chest here, and he still gets recurring pains now, and yet there's actually nothing wrong with his breast muscle here.
It's interesting that you say, because I have my left shoulder and the whole my left side, my lower back, my rotator cuff, my scapula, they're all out of alignment,
Okay.
and that's the place that I have pain, but I cannot pinpoint it to what actually caused it.
Yeah.
I've been working out. I've been like,
Yeah.
I don't know, lifting this and that, but I cannot say, oh yeah, that day, that exercise, that whatever caused this injury. And I'm not sure it's related to what we just talked about,
Yeah.
but I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
That
Yeah, and I don't know if you ever can be totally sure, but apparently it's quite common that people take with them illnesses or physical damage, that somehow is there in our soul memory too. Yeah.
So it was interesting because I didn't make anything out of it. Like I didn't make any, this and that, take me to the psychologist or whatever. But back then it wasn't anything like that. It wasn't like kids weren't that, you wouldn't take their words that seriously.
Yeah.
So, but from what I remember, I never told them what my nightmares are. For sure, I didn't tell them that it's repetitive.
Yeah.
Like it's the same thing every night. But later on, when I was like, I don't know, maybe around 18 or something, because I came across the topic reincarnation, the concept of reincarnation, very late, I would say, when I was 17, 18. And then suddenly, I don't know if it was right away or it was like through one of the late night just thinking before falling asleep. I was like, oh, that memory that I had, that nightmares, could it be my previous life that I was remembering? Triggered by these paintings on the wall,
Yeah.
seeing those people, and I never felt good about those people. Like you're supposed to think they're good people, 12 disciples, Jesus, you get a good vibe out of it. But it wasn't for me. So I always thought like, so I think it kind of true, because it can work both ways. It can be that I saw them, then I had nightmare about those people with my little mind,
Yes.
little 4-year-old
Yeah.
mind.
Yeah.
Or I see the painting and I'm like, oh, I remember this.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah.
The repetitive part of it is something that I question, because You can, I don't know, you can watch a scary movie and have a nightmare about it. But if you watch a scary movie and have a nightmare about it, I don't know, 2 years in a row,
Yeah,
then
yeah.
there's something going on.
Yeah.
So,
I think just on the subject of dreams,
mm,
if you have such a repetitive dream, it's like it's some kind of message for you too.
mm,
And if you don't get it the first time, well, they replay.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Like Groundhog Day. Do you know that movie?
Groundhog.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, this guy gets stuck in a situation in a little town he doesn't want to be in.
Mm.
And he wakes up every morning and it's the same day. And he keeps repeating that day until he learns to be a good guy.
Ah.
Then he wakes up and it's the day after.
So one of those loop time movies.
Yes, yeah.
Time loop, sorry.
So I'm just thinking maybe that was a similar thing with your dream too. That your subconscious or something is trying to make you look at this earlier lifetime or something like that. Yeah. That's a big question. I don't know if that's true.
Yeah, I don't know either.
No.
But I remember when I started going to school, then I stopped having that
Okay.
nightmare or dream or whatever it was. So, but it was very interesting to me later on when I was like 17, 18, and I learned about the concept of reincarnation.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, could it be? And as I think back, it probably was, because reincarnation kind of makes sense
Yes.
to me, at least.
Same. Yeah.
It's like anything else in the nature, even in this world that we live in, get recycled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good point.
And yeah,
Including us.
exactly, for a purpose as well.
Yes.
It has a purpose. Like, I don't know, leaves fall down, then, to turn to whatever nutrition for the trees again. It's like a weird cycle of life that we are part of it.
Yes.
But we are little, like, how do you say, we're cocky and egoistic, that we like, no, the animals, plants, everything are part of nature, but we are controlling it. We are out of the food chain. We are out of this, out of that. We are these unique beings that have a fine light of time to live, and then some believe you disappear, some believe you just cease to exist. But most of the people believe you get reincarnated.
Yes.
Which I didn't know.
That's fantastic.
I think we were a minority, sorry. But apparently, majority of people, more than 51%, believe in reincarnation.
And I can guess more from Asian cultures and that too. Yeah, because I know that Christianity apparently had reincarnation included in their scriptures until I think some around 400 AD, and somehow it got taken out. Maybe as a means of controlling the masses, if they know we're going to come back, then maybe there's, not such a fear about things, and we don't have to confess our sins. We'll just come back and do it next time. That's my theory, anyway.
I guess a lot of things, a lot of factors make them to decide, or they'll take that decision.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
It wasn't only the, how do you say, I think then people could have the thought, at least, that, maybe Jesus will be reincarnated.
Well, we're still waiting for the second coming, aren't we? Yeah, so we'll see.
But if it was reincarnation, if you believe in reincarnation, then you don't have to wait. Just go and look for reincarnated Jesus, as they do for reincarnated Buddha.
Yes. Well, there's a point.
Yeah,
That's how they choose the Dalai Lama, isn't it?
exactly. Yeah.
Is that they get told from their guided teachers where to look for the new Dalai Lama, where he's reincarnated, and then take some items from his previous life, and if that child recognizes them, then they know, yeah, he's the one. And that's happened 14 times so far.
How accurate you think they are?
You better ask the Dalai Lama that. I don't know. I'm sure they have a system. Yeah.
Yeah, of course, probably they have like a trial of some type, but I don't know.
I don't have any more knowledge of that than what I said, unfortunately, but I think it's quite fascinating that first they get told which child to look for, and then to test it. I don't know how many times they get it wrong, but
Have you watched the movie Buddha?
no.
I'm not sure if it's called Buddha, but it's the movie about Buddha, about how it was and what happened that he started to go through his journey and like.
Okay.
So the story is really interesting because he's a prince and he lives in this big castle, guarded and protected with walls, and he hasn't seen anything remotely, how do you say, negative in his life.
Okay. Yeah.
And everything is beautiful, this beautiful garden, beautiful maids, everybody is like living like a harmony and like how do you say, abundance, and nothing is wrong, no sadness, no illness, nothing. And one day he wasn't supposed to be, he was at the gate and they opened the gate to receive delivery or whatever, and he sees so many damaged poor people with like a
wow.
really bad condition and moving around, and he stopped and he stops and thinks and like get like his whole perception get destroyed because he couldn't even fathom the fact that there is such a thing out there. And then he starts his journey. He leaves his father kingdom and go to the personal journey. Which is sound like a story to me. I don't know if it happened. I don't know Buddha was a real figure in the history.
And I don't know more or less than anyone else, but whoever the real or imaginary person was has had a huge effect on us, hasn't he?
Yeah. That's undeniable. And so the story of it is, for me, it was really interesting to watch that movie and like, so it can happen. Like you can have like a change of perspective and like it suddenly can change the trajectory of your life.
Yeah. I have a really good example of that, not a very nice one, well, not completely nice, but that aside, this is many years back now. I was working with this guy and we just immediately bonded straight off. It was like, yes, I know this guy. But at the same time, there was this underlying antagonism, that we wanted to destroy the other one, but we didn't. So both those feelings were there really strongly. And I did a little bit of meditation on this, and as he did too, because he felt the same way, as to why we should feel this, because we had no reason to want to destroy each other this time round. And it seems that very long time back in ancient Greece, we were born as brothers, but somehow ended up on opposite sides of a war. So we ended up physically fighting each other. Yet we were brothers, so we took with us both those feelings of family and enemy.
As I said, there's a study that they've done on 23,000 people 18,000 people from 23 different countries. And in that study, 51% or more of people believe in the concept of reincarnation. So, and of course it makes sense, because when we think about the whole world's population, we usually think about the Western countries first. But they're not the majority.
No.
They're like literally minority. Because most of the people live in China, India, and
Indonesia.
And Asia.
Oh, Asia, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course they believe in reincarnation, most of them, because they have the religion, the Hinduism, all the religion that believe in reincarnation. I have a list of them. Jainism, Buddhism, not a religion, doesn't have a god, Buddhism, but it still is in this list. And Sikhism. And of course they believe in reincarnation,
Yes.
all of them. They believe in the concept of karma and reincarnation. And apparently some branches of Judaism
Great.
believe in
Okay.
reincarnation too.
Oh.
There are, like I was watch some rabbis talking about reincarnation, but it's a little different from how they believe it in Asian religions.
Okay, yeah.
It's a little different from like Buddhism, how they believe in reincarnation. But still, they believe in reincarnation in some branches of Judaism. And as you said, Christianity, they took away the scripture that talks
Yes.
about.
Yeah.
And there are plenty of historic figures that talk about reincarnation, and they believe in reincarnation.
Okay. I didn't
among
know, yeah.
among of most famous ones, Plato,
Okay.
Socrates,
Good. Yeah.
Buddha, Buddha, wink, wink. you don't need to say it, but
Yes.
you have to name the names. Apparently, Jesus himself. There are scriptures
Fantastic. Yeah.
about what he believed in. Benjamin Franklin.
Oh, he was a real mystic.
Yeah.
Wasn't he?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Henry Ford.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, interesting figures and characters. Thomas Edison.
Okay.
They all believe in
Yeah.
reincarnation one way or another.
Oh.
So it just shows that you don't have to like be a spiritual or like only those type of people believe in like, oh yeah, I can be reincarnated in a different life,
Sure. Yeah.
probably on Earth. You can hope for it at least.
Good that you say that.
Yeah.
Probably on Earth.
Yeah.
'Cause I know that there are many other avenues than just the planet Earth for experiencing life. Doesn't have to be necessarily be here at all. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it was interesting to me because I thought like my perception of reincarnation was like you have to be spiritually kind of awakened to accept the concept of reincarnation, but not necessarily, I guess.
No. And even if you don't, it's going to happen anyway. So.
Yeah. Like, exactly. Like it doesn't matter what you believe, the thing that's supposed to happen will happen. But at the same time, it was very interesting that people do believe in reincarnation.
Absolutely. I had no idea it was a majority belief. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Cheers to that.
Cheers to that. I don't have water here, but cheers to that. And yeah, it was interesting. So I guess it's less in Western countries. So
Yes.
it's like the percentage is like 20 to 22% believe in reincarnation, 20 to 23% believe that you cease to exist,
Yeah.
and the rest our good Christian brothers and sisters that believe you go to heaven and hell, or
Yes.
You don't. I'm not sure how the percentage is about them.
I
know.
guess maybe that can be seen as a form of reincarnation, but just in another place. I don't know. That's a question too, because I don't know much more about that.
Yeah.
But, I was thinking too, here and now, how we recognize signs of previous lives. Is that a good time to talk about that now?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yes,
Good.
Yes. But maybe we can just talk about reincarnation, the concept of reincarnation first.
Sure. Yeah.
What it is, because we say like people believe it, people accept it. I mean, it's kind of self-explanatory. It's just explain itself, reincarnated.
Yes, reborn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I have a couple of questions that I'm gonna ask.
Okay.
And maybe you can elaborate on them.
If I can.
Yeah, I'm sure you can. I believe in you.
Wow. Thank you. I hope I can live up to your expectations, Marnie.
Very high expectations.
Oh, dear.
No pressure.
Oh dear. Is that the time? Oh, I must.
I have a thing to do with the guy that.
Yeah.
Yes. So, what is the cause of reincarnation? What is reincarnation itself?
Okay. Oh, well. Yes. You want me to answer that?
Yes, go ahead.
All right.
Please.
Well, I see the whole system here on Earth as imagined as like a school for us and all the other beings here. And, reincarnation to me is just like a kid coming to grade 1, meeting up with his classmates, and then first lifetime out, die. Okay, grade 2, and we're back for the next lifetime. And on it goes until we have really learnt what we can from this fabulous school, and we maybe move on to the next place. That's the simplest way that I can see it and describe it. And why we come back is the same as school. Okay, grade 1 we learn this and that, and realize, okay, grade 2 might be good. We can come back and learn that and this and the other thing, and on we go. And which then brings in my interpretation of karma, which to me is cause and effect too. That maybe if we mess up, like I did in mathematics one year, I got to come back and do it all over the next time. Mm-hmm. But I didn't have to repeat maybe some of the other subjects, which I was good at. So that's my very personal interpretation of karma, because I know it's a very loaded word, but to me it's just cause and effect. If I'm a really mean person one lifetime, and I leave this life and reevaluate what I went through, I might think, oh God, that was pretty stupid, Lyle. Why were you so mean? Go back, learn to be kind, just to balance things out.
So I think you answered two follow-up questions that I had.
Sorry.
Too. No, it's great. Because my next question was, which I kind of asked you, was that what is the cause of reincarnation? Which you explained, karma is the cause.
Yes.
Because karma itself is the cause and effect.
Yes.
Karma is the cause, effect is reincarnation, and do it all over again to do the thing that you did wrong.
Yes, just so that
correct
we can grow.
the things that you did wrong.
Yeah.
So
I think the Buddhists might kick my ass at this point, but that's my interpretation, and that's really all you and I can do here is present what we experience or believe, and let our listeners.
All your Buddhists out there, bite me. No, but we just try to go through things in a way that
yes
is we're not representing any religion or any type of any school of thoughts here. We just
I just want to make our listeners think what's real for you.
Yeah, exactly.
What works for you. Not that we are right and you're wrong, or anyone else is right and wrong. What's real for you?
This is all our personal takes on whatever it is. So
exactly. Yeah.
If you're mad,
It's fine.
It's not that serious.
Just
worry
don't
about
kill
it.
us.
Yeah.
We're not
I'll
ready for
be
that
there.
yet.
No killing. But my next question was that what is behind the mechanism of reincarnation? Like, because I understand the cause of it is karma. The purpose of it is to correct the mistake that you have done in your past life and get it right and do it right. And until you don't get it right, you're going to be reincarnated until you get it right.
Yes.
Let's say, I'm talking like Shoshana. Let's say you got it right at the end. What is the mechanism behind that? What is?
Oh, okay. It's evolution. Evolution of the soul. Simple as that. We're all here to learn and grow. And when I say we, I'm not just talking humans. All sentient beings are here to learn and grow. But I am sure it is just us who decide, okay, what lessons does Lyle need, this life or these series of lives? I don't think we're answerable to anyone else excepting ourselves. So we've set this up. We've set up our parents, the situation, so that we can come in and learn this lesson and that, whatever it is that we decide. And as we're talking about that, and they build on each other too. We might start off as a very simple being and learn about loving or whatever it is, and then the next life is something else, setting boundaries, or next one might be about prestige, and on it goes, at our own menu, not anyone else's. So but what I feel is quite special about planet Earth, this is a slight divergence, but not really, is that we have two things here that a lot of other dimensions and places don't share. And one is time and the other one is space. And those two things, which are quite often looked down upon by different beliefs and religions, actually give us an opportunity to focus on our lessons in a way that is not possible in other dimensions. One of the things that we get put on us here is that it's like we have a memory block of what I just said, and that's deliberate too. So we can focus on here and now. We have these wonderful bodies, and we have the experience of time and physical form to learn lessons that we can't in other places. And it helps us evolve much faster here. I know that there are billions of beings that would give their back teeth, if they had any, to be here. It was a long sentence.
So
sorry,
evolution of souls.
Yes.
That's the mechanism behind the reincarnation.
Yes.
Very interesting. Very, very interesting way to put it. Evolution of our souls, which we're gonna get into a little later.
I might want to just add something to that a little bit, Marnie. Really, the whole cosmos is evolving. We as souls are just a minute little tiny bit of it. So, I mean, the rocks are evolving, and the air and the molecules and everything is constantly raising its frequency, you could say, on an energy level. But we have to speak from a human point of view because we're experiencing being humans. So, but everything around us is also evolving too, not just us.
If we try to connect the reincarnation, or because all this everything that you explained and all this perception of reincarnation, it's been explained in a very spiritual, like, type of scripture, like. But if you want to have it like a little more in terms of science, like if you want to have a scientific way of looking at the same concept, which is reincarnation, and if you want to, how do you say, reinterpret it through other concepts that can be applied to our reality, let's say simulation.
Okay, yeah.
if you want to mix those two and try to see, okay, how the concept of reincarnation works if we were living in a simulation, which the Buddhism or Jainism, they kind of intertwine those two concepts together. So they say you live in a dream world here to
Yes.
learn, as you said, to level up, and for the evolution of your soul, you have to go through these hurdles and pass with flying colors, apparently. So what I'm thinking is that if you want to look at it with a scientific method, ask the question, find out how it can fit in, and then come up with the concept of.
Well, then I guess quantum physics raises its head again too, which I know very little about, but I'm fascinated with. But in fact, they say if you understand quantum physics, then you really don't. And I'm one of those. But I kind of get the general idea that the more you look at matter and the physical plane, the weirder it gets, or the more. It's not weird. It's not the word I want.
Complex.
Abstract. Yes, that it gets. And I know we mentioned this in earlier episodes, but like looking at this table, and our physical, mental intellect sees a glass table here. But if you look at it from quantum physics point of view, the table isn't really here. It's space. It's energy. And
bits and pieces of information.
Thank you. Yes, even better. Yeah.
I think even the quantum physicists, they know what it is. They know what quantum physics is, but they don't know how it works.
Well, yeah, exactly.
And they're not shy to admit that.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So it's when you say like I know so little, I guess we as a collective consciousness, we know so little about quantum physics. So we know nothing about the smallest bits and pieces of our world.
Exactly.
And
to me, the relevance of that is, I'm not sure. This is a big question, but I'm just not sure that we humans with this intellect are equipped to really take that in. And I think that might be deliberate in the design of this place, that if we did know, we might not bother with getting on with our lives here.
Yeah.
So that's where I see the connection to quantum physics and reincarnation. But I think that's where it ends too, in my understanding anyway, that we must, as humans with this brain that has a certain capacity, maybe realize that maybe we leave some things alone for now. Maybe the understanding comes as we evolve, but I don't think the average human here and now has that ability to really go further yet. I'm not saying we won't, but yeah.
Okay, I'm going to image a picture for you, just humor me. Let's say you are this character in this game that calls life. And
well, I am this character. I'm Lyle.
Exactly. You're Lyle in this game.
I'm playing this role, Lyle.
Exactly.
Yes.
In this world. In this life. The game is live.
Yes.
And what I was trying to say, how can we mix those concepts and make sense out of it? Some sense, at least. Is that you go through it from end to beginning. There are quests that you can do in your way to the end.
Yes.
The end of your life or end of this game. You choose which quest you pick. Sometimes you pick a wrong quest.
Yes.
And you end up with the wrong result.
Yes.
But the time is already passed.
That's very common. Yeah. Yes, I know a bit about that, Marnie.
Then you finish the game. The game will finish. But the percentage that you have done is literally the concept of video game that I'm saying. People who plays video game know exactly what I'm saying. You're going to finish the game. The game would be finished. But the percentage that you done in the game is like 50%.
Okay.
So either you are one of those gamers that you go and start again and do all the side quests and everything in the game to get 100%, or you don't, because you have a choice. But apparently this simulation or game or life that we get reincarnated or reassessed, or no, reassess is the wrong term.
Well, no, but we reassess ourselves, but it's
somehow
not wrong. Yeah.
I cannot think about the right term for it, but
No,
reassigned.
Reassigned. Okay.
Reassigned to do it again. There is no, maybe there is and we don't remember. There is no personal choice that, I didn't do that. I should have done that. Oh, let me just do and go and do it again. Either you come with the same character, like you relive liar lives again.
Yes, there's truth in that. Yeah, the similar patterns, not the same role, but similar patterns.
Even thinking like you literally lives the liar's life again. Same body, same family, same everything.
Oh, heaven forbid. Okay.
It's hard. It's like, ooh, no, thank you. Ew, brother, ew. So
I can give you an example of myself from many past lifetimes if you want. That pretty much fits with what you're saying, excepting that it is only myself who has assigned myself to come to this life, this life, this life, this life. There's no one else bullying me to do it. But I have had a whole series of lives where I have had opportunity to create big things, either in political ways or artistic ways. And not all of my lifetimes, but many of them, I have either abused power or created destruction where I was trying to do the opposite. I've always had good intentions, but quite often had disastrous results. Really big, we won't go into that, but bad stuff. So that has set up a series of more lifetimes after that, where my main lesson is learning to trust myself and respect myself, and learn to not create destruction where I meant to create beauty or freedom for people. And that still applies in this lifetime now. I hope this is the end of the line with this series of lessons that have gone on for a very long time. But that is still my main lesson, is to really to trust my heart, trust my feelings, and believe in them and act on them. And actually, and making these podcasts with you, Mani, is part of that too. Sitting here talking and saying all this stuff and knowing that it's true for me and having the courage to present it to our listeners. Viewers. So, it's all part and parcel of it, that. And
we call them followers.
Followers. Oh.
However they follow.
There we have it. So that's my take on that. And not at all an unusual chain of events. We all have our own pattern of learning, but that's been mine, that have been given great opportunity many times and unintentionally caused the opposite to what I was trying to do, which of course makes my self-worth just go way down. If I was out to be evil and create evil, then that's another matter. But I didn't. I always had really good intentions with terrible results sometimes. Not always, I must say. I've done some good stuff too. But so to me, that's the pattern of my reincarnation cycle. And it's been a good life, this one. To me, the key is at the start of the lifetime, and something you touched on too there, Marnie, we come in, we know unconsciously what we need to learn. And if we learn to follow our heart, we'll put ourselves in the right situations to learn those lessons. But it's so easy to get caught up in what society expects of us, and we might get way off track and not learn any of them or very few of those lessons. And I see that a lot. It makes me very sad when I see people living a life where they're obviously really just living in a simulation, living someone else's life, as it were, not living from the heart. And I've seen it even in people really close to me, that they get caught up in what the parents might expect of the child or what society expects, and then you lose touch with what we feel in here. And then we don't know, then we're lost. We feel we can't trust this feeling, which might be telling us that we should do something quite different from what we feel. For example, if someone has a great passion to be an artist and end up being an engineer, nothing wrong with being an engineer. But if that person came to be an artist, man, they're going to feel like crap all their life because there's no fulfillment.
Do you remember any past lives? Or...
Lots. Sorry. You got all day, all week? Yeah, I have the good fortune that I have very good connection with my guided teachers. And it is through that connection that I have got to know a lot about my past lifetimes. But I just want to say before we go into that, it doesn't necessarily have to be the way. If we look at, if we come to a new place and feel, I feel home here, or we come to a new place and feel really bad, very possibly both of those are a sign that we've had some connection with that place before. And the same as we already mentioned with people. We meet a new person and just feel really good with them and know them, just coming home feeling. Those are almost definitely past life connections in some way.
But we were talking about your personal...
Yes, we're getting there, yeah. I was just going to say too that I think one thing that is a bit of a trap with looking at past lifetimes is if we let our ego get caught into the roles we were playing. Oh, yes, I was Cleopatra. I've met thousands of Cleopatras. Or I was King so-and-so and blah, 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 which could or not be true or not. The roles don't matter. What is good to know about our past lifetimes is what we did and what we learnt, because that's showing us what we have with us here and now. What is our innate wisdom? Innate wisdom being that which we are born with. And some small children seem like old people when they're young. That's innate wisdom coming out. And I lost my track for a moment here. Oh yes, my past lifetime, sorry. So I'm just coming back to myself to your question and which lifetimes I have led. I have had a vast number of lifetimes either in China or in Nepal, India. And a lot of them either as a monk or something in that line, in the Buddhist world and the Taoist world, those two there. Those are my strongest influences. Those in the European lives are more recent. I have had a very recent life as a Romanov in the Russian court. A life that ended very, very tragically and very short life. It wasn't even an exciting life. I was a twin. and my twin is also a relative to me now. And anyway, we both died of some horrible illness at a young age. But I can remember that glimpses of that life in St. Petersburg. So that's one of my nearest lives. But the most recent one I had, again, quite uneventful. I was born in the late 20s in Seattle in the USA, and I died in Guam in the Second World War by being shot down by a Japanese fighter plane on a runway. And I have graphic memory of that, of standing on this hot iron runway and can hear the sound of the Japanese fighter plane coming down, swooping down, and then the vibration of the motor very loud, and then a hot feeling here in my chest, and nothing. And my parents were both in the New Zealand Air Force, and as a child, I got to experience that noise again of those fighter planes. The Japanese ones were called Zero bombers, and the New Zealand Air Force had similar planes. And just the sound, the vibration of that motor, that death comes back to me. I was 16 years old when I died. So not much happened in that life, but that's the one I have the most conscious memory of, with small details, because it's the most recent one. And I died in, I think it was 44, 45, and I was reborn this life in 1953 in New Zealand. And I would like to add a little footnote to that too. My first memory this lifetime, which wasn't my memory but my mother's, my mother decided she was going to study for life. She was going to just live on her own and study. And apparently I came to her in a dream while she was still single, no intention of marrying. And I came to her as a child that she had been a nanny to in around the 1700s somewhere. And I said to her, "Hello, Jessie, I'm going to be your firstborn child quite soon." In other words, get a move on, honey, find a husband. And my mother said that was such a real graphic experience for her, because she then remembered that past life from having the dream. And sure enough, a few years later, she met my father. They fell madly in love. He had no intention of marrying either. He was a very, I wouldn't say playboy, but nearly playboy type. He was a sportsman and big cars and very popular with the ladies. And when those two met, that was it. Bang. And shortly afterwards, I turned up. And my mother said she recognized me too as that being. So that was really my introduction to reincarnation.
So you force yourself to this.
Yes, my
to this life.
Poor innocent mother who wanted to study her whole life, and I ruined it for her. I probably ruined it for her in the previous life too by dying very young.
So how old were you when you remember your past lives? When was the first?
Oh, gee, Mani, that's a good question.
At least the most recent.
Yes, thank you. I do know the answer on that. When I was 14, I was going to Tauranga Boys College in New Zealand, and two teachers came from Bangladesh. One was my physics teacher, one was my mathematics teacher. And meeting them, I felt, wow, I feel it now, to a real longing back to something from India. And especially with my mathematics teacher, he was also a Brahmin priest. And I felt a great longing to bully him into teaching us about philosophy. And he agreed. And so we spent many lunchtimes together with not just me, but a group of friends, discussing all the different beliefs and religions of the world. But it was that meeting those two that really was, I don't think I knew them from earlier lives, but what they represented, the Indian culture and the Indian religions, which I had been so much a part of. And that set me on my path this lifetime for what I could call my spiritual journey. My mathematics teacher that I bullied started me off on it.
Mm.
And actually reincarnation, of course, is one of the things that came up in that. And if I remember rightly, that's why my mother told me about her experience too. When I went back to her, oh, Mama, reincarnation, blah, blah. She says, well, yes, dear, that's how we got married and that's for you.
She just confirms your theory about
Yes.
reincarnation.
Yes, yeah. How about you, Marnie? You've told us your lovely one when you were 4. There can't be many earlier than that, I imagine, or?
That's the only one, unfortunately. I'm not as interesting. I don't have interesting stories as you have, but that's the only one that I remember when I was 4 because of nightmares. I remember the nightmares.
Yes, yeah.
But when I was 17, 18, I was like interpreted. Maybe it could be a reincarnation. Maybe it was my past life. That's the only thing I remember.
Okay.
And I think, as I said, I'm not sure if it's my past life, if it's something that I watch on that painting that gives me nightmare, or if I watch that painting, seeing those people, and triggered the horrible memory of getting killed.
Do you think it could have been that you were somehow involved with the Last Supper, or maybe it was something from Renaissance times?
I like to think I was. I'm not gonna lie to you. I like to think I was involved. I like to think I was like a, I don't know, important figure in the history or whatever, but I'm not sure. I don't know.
Okay.
But I know that I've been chased by at least three people.
Wow.
3 men. And they killed me, so that I know. That I can remember. And it's weird because I still can remember. I'm 38 now.
Wow.
I still can remember exactly what I was dreaming about, like how it was.
Yeah.
I don't have the same nightmare anymore, or I don't dream it, but I remember it. So vivid.
Right.
It's so weird that I can remember it, because I don't remember what I eat like for dinner last night. But I remember that when I was 4 or 5. And I don't make anything out of it. Like I don't like, oh yeah, there are plenty of lives, but it gives me the indications that the past lives make sense. However you want to think about it. If you want to think about simulation, it can be another round of simulation for you to get something, some message or some lesson correctly. If you want to think about it like in a spiritual terms, you live to fulfill your soul and purpose, to be able to transcend to the higher dimension or afterlife or whatever it is out there waiting for us. Which everything that we just talked about, it comes in the like a very well put it concept of the law of one. Have you heard about the law of one?
Only very briefly from you the other day at Marnie.
Before that you haven't heard?
No.
Yeah. It's kind of interesting because whatever you were saying, because we talk about this stuff before we record any podcast, and you told me about like, oh, I experienced past life this and that, and I have connection with these higher dimension beings, interdimensional beings, and I'm not gonna lie to you. At first, I was listening to you, not trying to say you're lying or like denying what you're saying, but I was like, Interesting.
It's a free world, Marnie.
No, but yeah, exactly. I was like, how it can work? I wonder why I haven't been contacted. It's like almost in a jealousy way. It's like, what about me?
Actually, I'm going to say something on that, Marnie. I asked. No one came to me first. I said, "Hey, you guys, come on,
What's
where are
up?
you?
What's going on?"
Let's get on with it." Yeah. For real.
So, I guess when I heard it first from you, I was like, like it was like tickling my pickle. I was like, yeah, interesting. Like, how can it work? How can it? I was just trying to imagine it for myself how it can be, how I would react to it if I get in contact with something that I cannot touch, or like in a trance state of mind. And I'm not sure if it happened to me and I don't remember it, because you live a life of sobriety almost. Is it a sobriety?
Do I? Okay.
I don't know. No. In terms of using drugs.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
You bet. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I had experience with like psychedelics and some psychoactives, chemicals. Let's not call them drugs. Chemicals. So, and in those state of minds, you have different experiences. And I'm not sure if I meet a being and like share thoughts with it, but I have experienced life in a different way through different lenses.
Okay.
What I'm trying to get to, I was just trying to understand your point of view and where you come from when you say those stuff to me. But then I listened to something very interesting. I watched a very short video on Facebook Reels, and it was a silly guy just having a conversation with himself and just explaining the concept of the law of one.
Okay.
And then I got really interested in it, and I searched for it, and I looked it up, and there was another guy, very well-spoken guy, that explained the law of one. He explained the 7 densities.
All right.
The law of one is very simple. It's that I'm gonna read it from the here. The law of one, or law of Ra, R-A, Ra, which explain we live in 7 major density, like our universe have 7 major density, and we live in that. And as humans, we live in the 3rd density, or 3rd dimension. And in 1981, there was a woman named Carla Ruckert, which I'm not sure what state she lived, but she lived in USA. And she has been contacted by higher dimension collective consciousness from planet Venus, and whom evolved to the higher dimension 2.6 billion years ago. So they don't have physical bodies.
Sure. Yeah.
They are in the 4th density.
Yes.
And they came to contact with her, and they tried to explain to her that we're trying to give humanity information about how they can evolve to higher dimensions and skip recycling and being reincarnated.
Okay. Yeah.
And then it goes further and explain the 7 densities, how you can get out of the 3rd dimensions, how you evolve The first density is just elements,
Yes,
matters.
sure, yeah.
And the second density is animals and plants. They're still
Yeah.
alive, they have some type of consciousness, but
Yeah.
they're not conscious,
Not sentient beings.
not sentient beings. You said it. And the third density, which we live in, we are conscious, we are sentience, and we have a choice. And the choice is very polarized between good and, for the lack of better term, evil, between love and hate, between jealousy and admiration. It's all those the opposite feelings that one can have, or all those opposite action one can take. So, and for us to be able to move on from this dimension or density and not get reincarnated or recycled back to it, we need to be in service of to others.
Yes.
And spread love around at least 51% or higher.
Bravo. Yes.
So if you, and there are two type of people. One type, they just like to be in service of themselves and love themselves and don't do any good or whatever. A very egoistic point of view. And there are people that love to share and be in service of other people, help out people, and like spread the love around, kindness and whatever good things that one can have. Trademark
of the ego.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Yes.
It's funny, when I think about it, it doesn't come. When I stop thinking, it just blip out of me. So, and of course, he explained, I can put the link in the description if you want to hear it. He's a really nice guy, explained it very well, and it's like 20 minutes, 25 minutes or 30 minutes video. You can watch it. I'm going to link it in the description. And he talks like what would happen after that. Of course, after the third dimension, the fourth dimension, apparently the fourth dimension is the polarized beings.
Okay.
That even though maybe I didn't understand exactly what he means by polarized, but anyway, you go and that dimension named, I think, wisdom.
Okay.
And you become it's better to look at it and explain it. I'm not gonna just butcher it now. Either way, from the fourth dimension you go to the fifth dimension, and from fifth dimension you go to the sixth dimension.
Yes.
It's not dimension, it's density. And from the sixth dimension you literally become one with the God. And the thing that he said, and I then later I think about it, was that you are already there, because we talk about the concept of time. Everything happening simultaneously.
Yes.
All nows are happening at the same time. And so all nows are happening at the same time. So you are already there.
Yes.
You are already the God, or that everything that is out there. And you're in touch with the element
Yes.
that in that evolution become you. And that's why when I say if you're not in touch with your higher self, you're an NPC in the simulation. That can be in the concept of simulation as well, that we get reincarnated. Like everything so far we talk about time, simulation, aliens, reincarnation, it's all connected.
Absolutely.
And I like to point out the connection, the
Yeah.
pattern that these are connected. It's like pieces of puzzles that when you put them
Yeah.
together, then it makes sense. Then you can see it for the first time. So if we are, and for some reason, this a structure of society designed to make us forget about that, make us to be remote from that connection,
For now, yes.
make us to for now, make us to not even want to listen to someone telling us that. It's like, what are you talking about? I have bills to pay, man. I have to pay my rent in like 5 days. What are you talking about? Go get a job. Talk about something serious. You see my tires? I bought them. I have to pay for them. These are real. But when you tell them, like, dude, listen, you need to find your connection. These are not all materialistic, for the lack of better term, shit. You need to find out what's the purpose with this life that you're in.
Absolutely.
And if you get it, if you understand it, if you can connect all the dots together, then it makes sense to you. Which what we are trying to do here, make it make sense. Wink, wink. And
Bravo, Mani. I agree.
that's what I thought. I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Everything happening simultaneously, present, past, future, or present, past, future.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It works both ways. And then when you get in touch with your higher self, the higher self is literally is the God that whatever you believe, whatever is your imagination, what God can be or what the end all be all can be. It doesn't need to be. It doesn't need to have any religion attachment to it. You are that, and you are in your journey. You are in your soul evolution journey, as you said it.
Yes.
Well put it. And that's the thing. With this, it was just like, as I said, if you watch that video, it's
Fantastic.
Like, it makes you like think a little. But
Yeah.
to take it out of those kind of like, because it doesn't need to be true even. It doesn't need. You don't need to think about like, oh, that girl in USA like bullshit
Yeah.
people around her and try to get attention. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if she got contacted by higher dimensional beings or whatever. It doesn't matter if it's true or not. The concept is still there.
Absolutely.
And you should look at the concept and
Yeah.
see if it makes sense.
Yeah.
And to me, it makes sense.
Me too. Yeah. Good sense. And it makes sense to me for the person trying to pay off his tires that you mentioned and paying the rent. I mean, that's all real important stuff. It's not some illusion that we're taught. And being here on this plane, we have the ability to focus and do things. So learning how to live a good life is it. And the tires and the rent are an important part of that. It's not separate. Quite the opposite. That's the gift of this planet, is that we can focus on those things and make sense of the small things in life, which aren't small at all in reality.
Anyway, when I watched that video, everything that you told me, I was about to say that.
Oh, sorry.
And I sidetracked by my thoughts. Sorry. But everything that you told me suddenly like find its place.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Because it was like all over the place for me when I heard it. But then I was like, so that's how you can put it in like a well
In a
sorted
context,
out context.
Yeah.
It's not like, this, what about that? Past life? Higher dimension? What? It's like, it's very confusing
Yeah.
if you're not... For me, it was like listening to this makes it like, now I can see it.
Yeah, I understand. You got,
And
a bigger picture of things.
yeah, as you said, the context of it. And I like you guys to go watch it, and I don't know where in your life you're at or what you have in mind, but it might make some type of sense and put things in context for you.
Well said, Marnie.
And that,
I'll second that.
yeah, that was the thing that happened to me. It put things in context for me. And I
Good.
was like, oh, yeah. Now it makes sense. It's like, if you're in this
Yeah.
journey of evolution of our souls, and all times are present, happening simultaneously,
Yes.
then the thing that we call God, the thing that we call intuition or like higher beings, it's just us waiting or not waiting, doing its thing, but trying to reach out,
Yeah.
to this third dimension stupid guy that is like, oh, ooh. Oh, strawberry. You know, it's like trying to reach out and trying to like guide me through all these hurdles and maze, and
Yeah.
try to get me to get it right. And I think, as you said, you remember so many lifetimes. I think I lived a lot of lifetimes.
Oh, we all have. Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
I'm one of the oldest souls in this planet. At least that's my perception of myself. And that's why,
Which is probably why we're sitting here now, sharing this for others.
apparently.
No, seriously.
Yeah. And for me, it was that I want to do this regardless of what comes out of it. I want to do this. I
Brilliant.
want to
Yes,
talk about
same.
topics.
Yeah.
I want to mix all the topics and see
Yeah.
if we can find similarity, if we can find, how do you say, like a same pattern in all different concepts.
Of course. Yeah.
And how we can
Yeah.
connect them and make some type of sense that is measurable
Yes.
by some type of science, some type of common sense. Yeah, like you can understand it not only in one aspect, like, oh yeah, spirituality. And then it's like, come on, drop it.
Yeah.
But when you go science, it's like, dude,
Yeah.
you're a nerd. And when you go like common sense, you're like, oh, wow, you're a street science, a street smart.
Yeah.
You're not.
Yeah.
But if you connect all of them together and like a cocktail of information, give
Yes.
it to them, there is no escaping it.
No, and I would like to suggest a little shortcut for our followers too, that if in any of life gets confusing or whatever we're saying doesn't make sense, think and act with unconditional love, and you cannot go wrong. Unconditional love means no judgment, no expectations on yourself or others. Just be love. And you can't miss the point.
Exactly, because what I'm thinking, even if all this is BS,
Which
to
it will
live
be
your
for some people, and that's fine. Yeah.
yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's right or wrong or true or false. As long as you live your life in a way that you don't have to be all selfless.
No.
And I know people who are like egoistic and cannot get over themselves even like 1%. I know a person very close to me that was like that. He's not in my life anymore, but he was very close to me. So if you can be selfless and be in service of others and spread love around, at least 50% or more, that's the way to live your life.
Yes.
You're not going to miss out.
No.
At the end of the day, it doesn't matter how much money you have, or it doesn't matter how much memory you made or whatever.
Yes.
If you make someone else's happy, if you make someone else's day better, that would means a lot more than having a, I don't know, fancy dinner in a fancy beach in fancy wherever. I guess that's the conclusion that we can come up with, that even if it's not true,
Yes. Yeah.
let it boggle your mind a little.
Love is all there is, as the Beatles would say.
Yeah, love is the answer,
Yes.
apparently. Thank you, Lyle.
Thank you, Mani.
It was a good
Awesome
talk.
to share this
Yeah.
time with you.
Thank you for watching.
Yes, guys. See you next time.